All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, giving double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the brothers out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the few sisters that watch. Just coming back with another lesson because, being in this truth, especially in the times that we're in now, amen, Satan is going to attack. He can attack you through your wife, your kids, hey man, even your pets. He can have your pets come at you. But Satan is gonna come at you all kind of ways, man. We're gonna go through so much, man, within this truth. We're really not going through as much as the next man. But the thing about it, man, we have been tasked, with a duty to bring forth this truth and operate within this ministry, man. So our burden is a lot more than these people out here, man. We got a lot more on our plate that's a lot more detrimental to our lives, than these people of the world, man, that don't understand. But they put their problems upon us, and even cause us problems, man. But the thing about it, you cannot be mentally fragile in this truth because we got a mission at hand. The same way a soldier may be on the battlefield, man, in the heat of the moment, bullets flying, bodies dropping. You gotta have focus, man. You can't get overly emotional. You can't get bogged down with fear. You gotta keep pushing, man. Because we are soldiers. We're soldiers for Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, to be exact. But we'll get the definition for mental fragility. It says refers to a state of increased vulnerability and susceptibility to emotional distress and psychological instability. And all these things are detrimental to us, man, being in this truth. But hey, we're subject to these things, man. But we got to understand, we got to fight through it, because, hey, like I said, man, Satan is going to attack us a whole lot more than these people of the world. And he's going to come at us in different ways. It says it describes a diminished capacity to cope with stress, setbacks, and challenges, leading to heightened reactivity and emotional dysregulation. Let's see what this word is right here. Emotional dysregulation. Let's see. Let's see. Dysregulation. Alertation, impairment of regulation of a metabolic, psychological process. So, man, basically we got to be on point. We got to be on point at all times, man. It says hypersensitivity, emotional instability, overwhelm, low resilience, anxiety and depression, difficulty with interpersonal relationships, self-doubt, low self-esteem. And all these things are detrimental to us in this truth. Because if we have any of these characteristics that take over our lives, man, we subject to fall out. you know. So with that being said, let's just grab a couple scriptures. You know, hey man, brothers going through it, man. You know, we have to be mindful of those things, man. You know, brother may be not in the same spirit as he always is. Then, you know, maybe their brother going through something, man. So we gotta be mindful of that. So this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 3. And we're gonna read the 5. It says, though therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach, no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who has chosen him to be a soldier. You know, this is not saying neglect your family, you know, push them to the side, neglect your job, push that to the side. You know, it's just saying, man, you know, we got to focus, in our first love, our first priority is this truth, you know, doing the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you know, above all. Verse 5, it says, and if any man also strive for masteries, yet he is not crowned, except he strive lawfully. So, man, we got to do things, you know, decently and in order. You know, we can't have ulterior motives, you know, being like Deacon Hakah, you know, fake, you know, deceitful. You know, he's of the world, man. And that's another reason why, you know, it's a lot harder for us, because we're being sincere about what we're doing. You know, we truly care about this truth and about Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and about the brotherhood, you know. But like I said, man, brothers get low in the spirit, and brothers have to be mindful that not speaking of anybody in particular, man, but speaking to myself first and foremost, for the simple fact, man, you know, hey, I fall victim to these thoughts also, man. You know, testing your faith. Satan is constantly tempting us, man. Constantly tempting us. So this is the book of St. James chapter 1. And we're going to start at verse 2. It says, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations. So let's go into this, man. You know, let's go into diverse temptations. You go into diverse really is saying like different ways, various ways. You know, it says various colors, variegated, various sorts. You know, so it's going to be different types of temptations that we're subject to. So let's go into temptations, because, you know, we'll drop down to B, an internal temptation to sin, of the temptation by which the devil sought to divert Yahushua the Messiah from his divine error. You know, Satan gonna come at us, man, in all kind of ways. You know, whether it be through being tempted by women, money, whatever it is. C, it says the condition of things, or a mental state, mental being mentally fragile, says by which we are enticed to sin, or to lapse from the faith of holiness, you know, being distracted. D, it says adversity, affliction, trouble, you know, sent by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and serving a test to prove one's character, faith, holiness. Man, you know, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to send Satan our way. You know, like I said, he may come in the, you know, just jump on your wife, jump on your kids. You know, your kids may be going through something. You might have a coworker that's, you know, trying to get you fired or whatever, man. But we cannot be mentally fragile in these situations. Can't be overly emotional. We have to operate with patience, man. So let's go to the book of First Corinthians. And like I say, I'm speaking today, man. I'm speaking from first-hand knowledge of how, Satan, tries you. So this is the book of First Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29. It says, but this I say, brethren, the time is short, and the time is short. We know we're right here, man. That's why things are really, really escalating. And we hadn't even seen that yet. We're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, and we still got a lot more to endure, man. So if you're mentally fragile at this state, how much more so 10 months from now, 5 months from now. So it says, it remaineth that both they that have wives be... All right, so lock you for that. It's the book of First Corinthians chapter 7. And we're going to drop down to verse 29. It says, but this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none. Because this can be a distraction, man. And Satan is definitely susceptible to jump on these women, man. We got to understand, like I say, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. That we got a mission to accomplish, man. And Lord willing, I can accomplish it. But I wanted to go back to Book of James chapter 1, verse 2. I want to go into this word joy, just to see. Joy, gladness. So it's basically cheerfulness, calm delight, gladness, greatly. So, when we're tempted, we got to count it all joy, when Satan tempting us, when we're going through hardships, man, because it's for a reason. We just got to continue to pray, pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that we can overcome it, whatever it may be, because brothers are constantly fighting, man, constantly fighting. Whether you're fighting your flesh, the spirit warring with the flesh, and that flesh is powerful, man, But like I say, we got to continue to fight. So we go to the book of St. Matthew chapter 6. And let's see. Verse 22, it says, the light of the body is the eye. Therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. So having your eyes single, man, is that laser focus on the task at hand. Just having that laser focus, man. And that's what we got to have. Let's see what's this word single. Oh. Folded together, single. Having that focus on one thing, man. Having your eyes single, focusing on pleasing Yahweh Hashem Yahushua first and foremost. Before anything, man. That's our goal. That's our mission. And the rest will fall in place, man. We just gotta pray have faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And eventually, man, Satan will get weak and leave, man. You know, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua have mercy on you, man, for staying faithful, you know. This was just a quick lesson through the spirit. Like I say, man, you know, definitely know brothers are going through a lot out here, man. So brothers, you know, just stay focused, man. Keep your eyes single. Constantly pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. You know, because really we don't have long. But, you know, this walk is going to get a lot harder, man. You know, so with that being said, Lord willing, it was edifying. We want to constantly give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakakodash. Shalom.